My parents threatened suicide, saying they'd jump off the building if I didn't get married. With tears in my eyes, I let them have their way and jumped off the building with them. When I opened my eyes again, the three of us had been reborn back to the day we jumped. My parents were just about to speak. Don't think that just because we died once, we'll stop pressuring you. Before they could finish speaking, I made them jump again. Die again. Die again. On the fifth rebirth, they knelt at my feet in tears, clinging to my legs. We won't pressure you anymore. We'll never pressure you to get married again. Just please stop killing us. Ever since I graduated from high school at 18, my parents started pushing me to get married. Before I even finished college, they wanted me to find a good man and settle down. By the time I turned 28 and had established my career, seeing me still unmarried, approaching 30, they decided to resort to extreme measures to force my hand. You unfilly daughter, do you have any idea what our relatives and friends are saying about us because you're not married? That's right. Your father and I only have you as our daughter. If you don't marry, are you trying to let the Collins family lineage die out? A woman who doesn't marry isn't complete. When you die, you won't even be allowed into the ancestral grave. In short, if you don't agree to get married today, your mother and I will jump off this building. I glanced at them and said, "Okay." They were stunned. "My mom," you said. "Okay, you mean you agreed." My dad, "I told you before, that young man's family is quite well off. The betrothal gift alone is 260,000 yuan. Your cousin is getting married next year and needs to buy a house." Before they could finish speaking, I interrupted. "What I mean is, I agree with you jumping off the building. Not only do I agree, but I can also join you." My father immediately started cursing. "You ungrateful daughter! How dare you say such things? We're your parents. Arranging your marriage isn't the same as trying to kill you. We're doing this for your own good." My mother chimed in. "You came from my own flesh, yet you say such hurtful things to me. You're truly... What are you babbling about?" My mother was quite light, so I picked her up and threw her down from upstairs. "Make way downstairs. Here comes the disgrace." My mother went splat and turned into a pile of mush upon landing. My dad saw it and was so scared he nearly pissed himself. When he came to his senses and tried to run, I clung to him desperately, and we both fell from the building. Splat. A family of 3 lay dead on the ground. 3 souls floated midair. The neighborhood buzzed with gossip. "Aren't those from old Collins's family? How did they all die?" "I heard their daughter had a great job and was planning to bring them over next year to enjoy life. What else could it be? Marriage pressure?" "I saw old Collins's daughter dragging him down. Probably pushed to desperation." "What? Then I better not pressure my son anymore. I want to live a few more years." I turned to my dad beside me. "Dad, which do you think is more embarrassing right now or staying alive?" My dad's face turned green with anger while my mom looked at me as if I were a ghost. "Are we dead? Are we really dead just like that? I haven't even written my will yet. Now that we're all dead, this apartment, the savings, and the old family house should go to your eldest aunt's son." I sighed regretfully. "Aw, why didn't you say so earlier? Had I known, I would have brought cousin down with us." My parents widened their eyes in shock. "What did you say?" The next second, all 3 of us were reborn. We were reborn back to the morning of the day we jumped. All 3 of us woke up in bed together. I lay still, but heard my parents exclaiming in the next room, "Are we still alive? Did we not die?" My mom said, "Old man, I had a dream. I dreamed we were pressuring our daughter to go on blind dates and get married." So she threw me off the building. My dad said, "I dreamed too. After she threw you off, she pulled me down with her. Our family of 3 all died together." "Oh, so you all remember? Then I can't let them know I've been reborn too." I immediately got up. "Dad, Mom, are you awake? I'm hungry." Hearing my voice, the 2 of them shuddered instantly. "Lily, you're awake?" Mom looked at me without her usual disdainful nagging, but with a hint of ingratiation instead. Dad wasn't as tough as before either. "Since you're up, tidy yourself properly. It's rare for you to come back. So later we'll go out and meet some relatives and friends." As soon as he finished speaking, my eyes instantly lit up. "What relatives and friends? Could it be my aunt's family?" My words instantly put my parents on high alert, and they asked in unison, "What are you trying to do?" I pretended to be taken aback and looked at them in surprise. "I was just asking, why are you so nervous? You usually can't go 3 sentences without mentioning my aunt and her son. Is it strange that I remember them? Only then did the two realize they might have been overly sensitive and returned to normal. That's not what your dad and I meant, right? We didn't mean anything by it. It's just that your aunt and cousin are coming, and you haven't seen each other much in years. Make sure to catch up properly later. Speaking of my aunt and cousin, they're practically succubus. I don't know what kind of sweet talk they fed my parents, but my mom and dad would give them all the best things, practically obeying their every word. In my memory, there was no tuition money for me. Their daughter, who got into a 985 university and became the most educated in the family, forcing me to take out student loans and work part-time. But there was plenty when it came to paying hundreds of thousands for my cousin's middle school enrollment fees. In the early days of my career, there was no financial support for their own daughter's living expenses, but there was money for the down payment on my cousin's wedding home. My parents always said, "A daughter belongs to someone else's family, but a son is our own." The key point is they don't even have a son. Isn't my aunt's son also someone else's son? I'm going to see what's so special about my cousin, this so-called son. So, she cheerfully agreed. Great. Let's have my aunt's whole family come over. I'll treat them properly. Hearing my words, my mother's face instantly turned pale, as if she had some ominous premonition. She instinctively turned to glance at my father. "Old man." This is my father stubbornly glared at her. "What's wrong with meeting them? Stop making a fuss." Then she turned around to call my Aunt Sis. "Lily is back. You and brother-in-law should bring Rachel over for dinner today." Yes, good. Knowing that my aunt's family was coming today, I rubbed my hands excitedly and ordered a whole bunch of dishes. "Mom, I want coriander beef, grilled swimming crab, braised eggplant, sweet and sour pork." My mom instinctively replied, "Don't you know your cousin doesn't eat coriander, is allergic to seafood, and won't touch eggplant?" My face darkened instantly. Can't I even eat what I like in my own home? You remember exactly what cousin doesn't eat, but do you remember what I like to eat? My words left my mother momentarily speechless. My father interrupted her. "The guest comes first. What's wrong with catering to your cousin's preferences? Besides, there are so many dishes. It's not like you can't eat the others." Me, I want to eat what I want. I hardly ever come back. And now I have to accommodate an outsider just to have a meal. Dad, it's understandable that Mom favors my cousin. He's her nephew from her side of the family. But why are you siding with him too? Could it be that there's something going on between you and Auntie? I'm not saying this without reason. Auntie and my current uncle aren't each other's first spouses. They're in a second marriage. My cousin is Auntie's child from a previous relationship, born out of wedlock with her ex-boyfriend. My current uncle was my dad's colleague at work. He came to our house for dinner and took a liking to my eldest aunt. So, he asked my parents to introduce them, which led to their marriage. When my eldest aunt married him, she brought her child along, and my cousin was already 8 years old. I heard people say that my uncle has oligospermia and couldn't have children, so he married my eldest aunt because she already had a son. Judging by my dad's attitude, I strongly suspect this ex-boyfriend is him. Hearing my words, my father's face instantly darkened. He raised his hand and slapped me. "You beast! How dare you say such things? Your aunt is pure and virtuous, and you dare slander her, I'll beat you to death." Fortunately, I was quite agile and dodged to the side when he swung at me. He missed his swing and nearly fell over. Meanwhile, I stood straight with my hands on my hips, pure as ice and chaste as jade. Yet an unwed mother, if I recall correctly, the father of my cousin's child still remains unknown. I don't mean to belittle the idea of having children out of wedlock, but Dad, aren't you being a bit too protective of my aunt? My dad panicked instantly. I did that because of your mom. I love your mom, so love me. Love my dog. Your aunt is your mom's sister. What's wrong with me respecting my sister-in-law? Covering my face as if I'd been hit, I said, "Then why did you hit me just now? I'm Mom's daughter, too. If you love the crow for the sake of its nest, why don't you love me? Why hit me instead?" My mom had just gone to the kitchen to busy herself, but upon hearing this, she immediately came out. "What's wrong? What are you arguing about again?" I'm pointing at my dad and I cried. "Mom, Dad said my aunt is pure and flawless and he even slapped me for her sake." My dad was so angry his mustache twitched. "I didn't even hit you. What nonsense are you spouting?" Me. "Look, you admit you just hit me. As for whether it actually landed, that's another matter entirely." I seized the chance to hide behind my mom and whispered devilishly in her ear, "Mom, Don't you think my cousin is starting to look more and more like Dad? They always say nephews take after their uncles, but I've never heard of nephews taking after their uncles-in-law. No wonder my dad was so generous with my cousin. 200,000 yuan for school selection fees, paid without hesitation, 80,000 yuan for a down payment, handed over just like that. I originally thought it was his way of showing love for you, but now I'm starting to think that might not be the case. Once the seed of doubt is planted, it takes root and grows. My mom's expression instantly became complicated upon hearing my words. John Collins, tell me, is what Lily said true? Rachel, could he really be your child with my sister? My dad's face immediately fell. Honey, what nonsense is this brat spouting? How could I ever betray you and our daughter, me? Mom, I believe that saying, as the proverb goes, a man's money follows his heart. Has his money ever been spent on you or on me? As far as I remember, it's all been spent on my aunt and cousin. My mom instinctively retorted, your cousin is a boy. What's wrong with spending more money on him? Me. Yes, he's a boy, but biologically speaking, he's from your Wong family. What does that have to do with Dad, who's an outsider? My mom was stunned by my words. That's because I didn't give your father a son, and Rachel took your aunt's surname, so he's considered our family's child. I smiled and tried to reason with her. My uncle is Rachel's stepfather. It's one thing for him to raise my aunt's son, but my dad is just an uncle-in-law. Why should he raise my aunt's son? My dad is your husband. Instead of raising your daughter, he's raising my aunt's son. Think about it. Does that make sense? My words hit her like a bolt of clarity. My mom may be stubborn and old-fashioned, but she's not that stupid. I've spelled it out so clearly. If she still doesn't get it, then she truly deserves to wear those cuckold horns for life. She stormed into the kitchen, grabbed a cleaver, and with a howl, lunged at my dad. They grappled fiercely, and my mom slashed my dad's neck with the cleaver, sending blood spurting all the way to the ceiling. My father struggled fiercely and pushed my mother, causing her forehead to hit the edge of the table. She collapsed to the ground, blood gushing instantly. I wanted to check if my parents were dead, but I slipped on the blood underfoot and fell backward, hitting the back of my head. Our family of 3 was wiped out again, fresh and lively when I opened my eyes again. The 3 of us were sitting in the living room, staring at each other in silence, looking at my parents' numb yet slightly resentful eyes. Their resentment tinged with a hint of palpitation, and that palpitation mixed with a trace of fear. I knew they had been reborn too. How great! Reborn again. Just as I was about to speak, the doorbell rang. It was my Aunt Wong Yu, my Uncle Jack, and my cousin Rachel who had arrived. My aunt, still charming in her middle age, wore her cornrow bun impeccably neat, and her bright red cashmere coat made her complexion glow. If she were to join a square dance, she'd easily attract a dozen gold bracelets as gifts. As soon as she stepped inside, she kicked off her knee-high boots and tossed them aside casually. She then gestured for my uncle to set down a crate of milk and a bag of bananas. Lily, your parents told me, you've become so busy lately. Finally found time to come back these days, huh? Auntie has something very important to discuss with you. After finishing all this by herself, she turned around and saw both my parents sitting on the sofa. My mom had her arms crossed, wearing an expression that clearly said she was ready to demand answers. My father kept winking at her, hesitating to speak. I smiled and said, Auntie, do you have something important to tell me? Auntie found it a bit strange. Weren't we invited for dinner? Hasn't it been prepared yet? It's all right. You can start cooking now. There's still time. The main reason I'm here is to talk to Lily. Then she took my hand and said, Lily, you're not getting any younger. Even your cousin has started dating. You should really start thinking about marriage. Don't keep making your parents nag you. They've been looking forward to becoming grandparents for ages. I know a fine young man, good family, stable job, and most importantly, his parents are local. If you marry him, both families can support each other. We've already discussed the bride price. If you marry him, they'll give 260 yuan. I pretended to be surprised. 260! So, how much dowry will our family provide? My aunt instinctively replied, What dowry? It's only natural for the groom's family to give a bride price when marrying a daughter-in-law. Your parents raised you all these years. The bride price is compensation for them. How could you have the nerve to ask for a dowry? I widened my eyes. Auntie, are you saying we should only take the bride price and not give any dowry? Isn't that like selling your daughter? If word gets out, people will laugh at our family and shame my parents." Auntie instantly flew into a rage. "Lily, don't listen to those outsiders' nonsense. Isn't this how all daughters get married in our village? I've told your parents long ago. What's the point of girls reading so many books? It just fills your head with heresies. I'm your aunt. Do you really think I'd harm you?" I scratched my head honestly. "But Auntie, I always feel like something isn't right. My cousin needed money for junior high school selection, and my parents gave 200,000 yuan. Then my cousin said he needed to buy a house for marriage, and my parents scraped together 80,000 yuan. So why is it that when it comes to me, there's only bride price but no dowry? So tell me, who are my parents' real child? My cousin or me?" If I remember correctly, back when I got into a 985 university, my tuition and living expenses for all 4 years were covered by student loans and my own part-time jobs. Didn't my parents constantly subsidize my cousin's living expenses when he was attending that vocational college? Tell me, is the reason my parents couldn't afford my dowry because they spent all their money on my cousin? Hearing my words, Rachel immediately slammed the table and stood up. "Lily Collins, what nonsense are you spouting? That money was voluntarily given to me by your aunt and uncle. Are you their own daughter? They'd rather give the money to me than spend it on you. Have you ever thought about looking for the reason within yourself?" I'm a very reasonable person. So, upon hearing this, I immediately lowered my head and searched all over myself. Then I said, helplessly, "I couldn't find anything since childhood. I've excelled both academically and morally. Every year in elementary school, I was awarded 3 Good Student Awards in middle and high school. I never fell out of the top 10 in my grade. I even got into a 985 university, the best achievement in our entire family. During my 4 years in college, I never asked my family for a single penny. And after starting work, I've been giving money to my family every year. I really don't see what's wrong with me." Rachel's face flushed red upon hearing my words. "What's the use of all this talk? Do you have what it takes? It's already generous enough that your aunt and uncle are willing to raise you until you're 18. And now that we're arranging a marriage for you, you dare to ask for a dowry? Can you take care of them in their old age? Can you be the one to smash the funeral bowl for them?" I instinctively retorted. "Then since you broke our family's bowl, can you compensate us for it?" My cousin froze. My mom suddenly kicked the coffee table, nearly shattering the glass surface. "Wang Yu, I'm asking you, what exactly is the relationship between Rachel and John Collins? Who is Rachel's biological father?" My aunt was stunned by my mom's outburst. I instinctively glanced at my dad, then hunched my shoulders and said, "I told you that's a painful memory for me. I don't want to bring it up. Why are you forcing me?" Uncle also chimed in. "That's right, Wanga. When your sister married me, Rachel was only 8 years old. I've raised him for 18 years. I'm just like his real father." "What do you mean by saying such things?" I interjected. "Uncle, isn't what you're saying a bit off? You claim you've supported my aunt and cousin for 18 years. But how much money have you actually spent on them? Just the documented expenses from my family alone amount to over $1 million, not to mention the holiday red envelopes and their regular allowances. It seems like my parents are the ones supporting both mother and child here. You haven't really contributed much financially, have you?" My words instantly left Uncle speechless. My salary has been saved with my mom all along. She said she'd return the money to us after your aunt and I retire for our retirement." Aunt chimed in. "Exactly. We're all family. Why be so calculative? Even your parents haven't said anything. Since when does a junior like you get to make comments?" I heard these words, shook my head inside, looking at my parents with frustration. "Dad, Mom, not only are you raising someone else's son, but you're also supporting someone else's wife and husband. I just don't understand why your money can be spent by my aunt, my cousin, even my uncle, but not by me. Is it just because I'm missing something my cousin has?" Thinking of this, I pondered for a moment, then went into the kitchen and grabbed a kitchen knife. With a swift motion, I brought the knife down. "Ah. My cousin's screams of agony echoed endlessly, reverberating throughout the entire apartment building. Bright red blood instantly stained the living room floor crimson. My father could no longer maintain his composure amidst the misery, breaking down in tears as he threw himself before my cousin Rachel. "My son, Lily Collins, you beast! How could you treat your own brother like this?" As soon as he uttered these words, my mother snatched the kitchen knife from my hand and slit my father's throat. Well done, John Collins. You finally admitted it. Rachel is the bastard child born from your affair with my sister. You two, you've been hiding this from me for so many years. Fine. My aunt saw my mom slit my dad's throat and was so frightened she turned pale, trying to run away. But my mom grabbed her by the hair, yanked her back, and slit her throat too. Uncle shouted, "Murder! Murder!" He was also caught by my mother and had his throat slit. Rachel crawled on the ground, struggling to escape towards the door, but was pinned down by my mother's foot and had his throat slit. I didn't say anything. Yet my mother still dragged me back and slit my throat finally. My mother looked at the battlefield strewn with corpses, smiled faintly, and slit her own throat as well. Total wipeout. Opening my eyes once more. We've been reborn yet again. This time, without saying a word, my mom went to the kitchen and grabbed a cleaver. My dad immediately dropped to his knees in front of my mom. I pretended not to know. "Dad, Mom, what are you doing? Auntie's family will be coming over for dinner soon." Thinking of the outcome from my previous life, I feel utterly at ease. My mom's neck-slitting move was so slick. I'd love to see it again. Unexpectedly, my mom's phone rang at this moment. Wonga, our family has something to do today, so we won't be coming over for dinner. In the future, let's not contact each other unless necessary. We won't be visiting your place anymore. My mother's expression instantly darkened, and her gaze toward my father was filled with murderous intent. As expected, my aunt's family must have also been reborn. My aunt, who's always trying to take advantage and constantly scheming to marry me off for bride price so her son can inherit our family property, hasn't come around to freeload anymore. My dad clung to my mom's leg. "Honey, calm down, let me explain slowly." Tears welled up in my mom's eyes. What more is there to explain? I looked utterly intrigued. "Mom, Dad, what exactly are you hiding from me?" The two exchanged glances upon hearing this, both looking at me with suspicious eyes. "Don't you remember anything at all?" I scratched the back of my head. Honestly, should I remember something? Remember how our family was wiped out 3 times, killing each other back and forth? He. The two awkwardly averted their eyes. "Nothing. Since your aunt isn't coming anymore, you should go back to your room. Your father and I have something to discuss." "Oh," I obediently agreed, turning around to enter the room. I immediately pressed my ear against the door. Then I heard the sound of my parents arguing. "John Collins, how could you do this to me? It's bad enough that you're seeing other women, but how could you be with my sister? Are there no other women left in the world? And you expect me to help raise your illegitimate child for Rachel's sake? What kind of life has Lily had growing up? Doesn't your conscience hurt at all?" My father defended himself. "I admit I was wrong about this, but Wong, you and I only slept together once when we were drunk. Besides, wasn't it you who disliked Lily for being a girl and insisted on favoring your nephew? The money given to Rachel? You were the one who insisted on giving it. I suggested saving some for our Lily. But you disagreed, saying, 'Lily is a girl and will marry out eventually.'" Wow, how dramatic. I never expected my mom to be this kind of person. So, my mom wasn't actually angry about the money being spent on Rachel. She was furious because my dad had an affair with my aunt behind her back. Sure enough, her voice weakened. "I just thought that Lily would eventually belong to someone else's family, while Rachel is a boy carrying the blood of our Wong family." "Right?" my dad said. "Think about it. Rachel is mine and your sister's child. So, doesn't that make him your child too? If we treat Rachel so well when we grow old, he'll surely take care of us. As for Lily, she's emotionally unstable. Have you forgotten how we, the old couple, died the first time, expecting her to take care of us in our old age? We'd be lucky if she doesn't kill us." My mom said, "You're right. We must never let Lily know that Rachel is her half-brother from the same father. Otherwise, I'm afraid she might do what she did in her past life again." My dad responded, "We still need to marry her off as soon as possible to get some dowry for her brother's wedding. Keeping her at home will only bring disaster to the whole family sooner or later." Then the two of them reached a bizarre consensus and pretended as if nothing had happened. Oh hell, I'm stunned. Turns out in this family only I, the daughter, am the enemy, the one to be defeated. Whatever the son does is always right, because my aunt gave birth to a son. It's forgivable that my dad had an affair with her and even made my mom help raise their son for 26 years. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Kissing this man-loving world goodbye. Just then, my phone rang. I saw it was Grandma calling. So, I put it on speakerphone and went to find Mom and Dad, so we could all listen together. Mom, Dad, Grandma's on the phone. Mom and Dad immediately ended the conversation. "Wanga," Grandma said on the other end of the phone, "since Lily is back, hurry up and arrange a blind date. It's best to settle things quickly and have her married by the end of the year. Go out and ask around which girl in the village is almost 30 and still unmarried. She's completely embarrassed me. Rachel is so sensible getting married at 26 without giving me any worries. Can you two handle this matter? If not, I'll step in as the grandmother." I couldn't help but ask Grandma, who's been gossiping behind my back, saying, "It's shameful that I'm almost 30 and still not married." My grandmother said, "Your third aunt, sixth aunt, seventh aunt, me." "All right, I'll go deal with them right now." My grandmother was stunned. I grabbed a kitchen knife and rushed downstairs, then got into the car. My parents, terrified, followed me downstairs and somehow squeezed into the car. "Lily, what are you trying to do?" "That's right. If you have something to discuss, let's talk it out. Calmly. Don't act impulsively." I held up a kitchen knife. "I'm going to ask those village gossips why their mouths are so loose. If you can't solve the problem, then solve the person causing the problem." My parents huddled together timidly in the back seat, trembling with fear. 3 hours later, I drove into my grandmother's village, knocking on every door with a kitchen knife in hand. "Auntie San, I heard you think it's shameful that I'm not married yet." Auntie San said, "Lily, it's not that Auntie wants to lecture you." I swung my blade at her head, slicing off half her skull. Auntie San, deceased, continued knocking on Auntie Lucy's door. "Aunt Six, I heard it was you who told my grandmother that if a woman doesn't marry, she'll have no one to take care of her when she's old and no one to bury her when she dies." Aunt Six said, "I only said that for your own good." I slit Aunt Six's throat with a single stroke. Aunt Six, deceased. Next, knock on Seventh Aunt's door. Seventh Aunt might have heard the rumors and didn't dare to open the door. "Lily, don't listen to your grandma's nonsense. I never said such things. You're so accomplished. You can live well without getting married. We're just jealous of you. Jealous that you don't have to marry, have children, take care of a husband and kids, or serve in-laws. We just want you to taste the bitterness we've endured." How did the blunt truth slip out? I grabbed a kitchen knife to chop at the door, but after hacking at third aunt and sixth aunt, the blade got a little dull. Turning around, I spotted an axe by seventh auntie's door. Perfect. I picked up the axe and swung it at seventh aunt wooden door. With a few swift strikes, I split the wooden door open. Seventh aunt, paralyzed with fear, collapsed to the ground, and I chopped off her head with a single axe swing. The head rolled away, tumbling right to my parents' feet. Both of them fainted dead away from sheer terror. When Grandma and the other villagers found out, they rushed out to stop me, only to be indiscriminately attacked by me. "So, you're the one saying, 'I won't get married,' huh? Or was it you who said, 'I won't get married. What's it to you if I don't get married?' Such loose tongues. I'll chop them to pieces." By the time my parents woke up from their unconsciousness, I had already wiped out the entire village, holding my grandmother's head. I gave them a sinister smile. "Mom, Dad, now you don't have to worry about people gossiping behind your backs, do you?" The two let out piercing screams and died of fright, their courage utterly shattered, and I was shot dead by the arriving police officers, representing justice. Total annihilation. As easy as turning over a hand, as easy as turning over a hand. When I opened my eyes again, I had been reborn back to the day my parents were urging me to get married. The three of us looked at each other, and before anyone could speak, we heard my cousin Rachel knocking on the door outside. "Cousin, I heard you're back. There's something I want to tell you." I peered through the peephole and was shocked to see Rachel holding an axe in his hand. It seems this time he has also been reborn, and he intends to strike first, aiming to kill me, his half-sister from the same father. That's too much. I remember last time I only cut off his root. It was my mom who took his life at this thought. I let out a piercing scream. "Mom, Dad, look, why is Rachel holding an axe? Judging by his expression, he seems to have a grudge against me. Is he going to kill me? Call the police. I'm calling the police." Then I took out my phone and dialed 911, the emergency number. My parents tried to stop me. "Don't call the police, Lily. Is there some misunderstanding here?" That's right. If you call the police, Rachel's life will be ruined. Me? Didn't you see him trying to chop me with an axe? If I don't call the police, I'll be finished. Then without hesitation, I dialed the emergency number. Uncle Police, come quick. My cousin's gone crazy, blocking my door with an axe trying to kill me. Hearing my voice, Rachel shouted outside the door. Lily Collins, you come out now. Dare to ruin me? Even dare to massacre the village. This time I'll strike first. Let's see who kills who. With tearful eyes. I looked at my parents, crying pitifully. Dad, Mom, what is Rachel saying? I don't understand any of it. What does he mean by ruining him or slaughtering the village? I've always been a decent and honest girl since childhood. How could I possibly do such things? Rachel, I'm your cousin. You can't treat me like this. But Rachel was clearly furious, determined to chop me down no matter what. What cousin? What are you pretending for? I'm the illegitimate child of your dad and your aunt. Didn't you already know? I'm Dad's only son. The Collins family fortune should rightfully be mine. So what if I spent just over $1 million of the family's money? What are you barking about, Lily Collins? Come out here today. I'm definitely going to chop you up. Anyway, when we die, we'll just be reborn. Upon hearing Rachel's words, all the neighbors showed expressions full of gossipy curiosity. What? An affair between the elder sister and the brother-in-law? You bastard! How dare you act so arrogantly trying to chop your own sister with an axe? Is there no justice left? What, rebirth? Have you been reading too many novels or watching too many short dramas? Are you mentally ill? Did you call the police? When are they coming? Amidst the sound of police sirens, Rachel was taken away by the officers. Rachel was dragged away while shouting, "Don't pull me! Don't pull me! You should arrest that Lily Collins. She can chop people with an axe. Why can't I? Ha ha! I'll chop all of you to death anyway. We'll just revive after dying." Then he actually attempted to assault a police officer. Would Officer Uncle tolerate that? He immediately subdued him with force, but Rachel was extremely arrogant. Haha, do you dare to beat me to death? The police officer gave him 2 solid punches. Our whole family was taken back to give statements. I don't know what my parents told the police, but I kept crying and complaining. I don't know anything. I just got home yesterday, and this morning I heard my cousin say he wanted to kill me. He also said some things I couldn't understand. Something about rebirth or whatever, and said it didn't matter if he killed me because I'd just be reborn anyway. Officer, maybe you should check if he has some mental issues. Oh, and he also claimed to be the illegitimate child of my dad and my aunt, saying that if I died, he could inherit all our family's property. Honestly, what's his problem? My parents already treat him like their own son, and they were even planning to marry me off for bride price to fund his wedding. Hearing my words, the police officers exchanged glances, their expressions turning very grave. All right, we've got the basic information. You can sign here and then go home. I cautiously asked, will my cousin be okay? Although he tried to chop me with an axe, I didn't open the door. I don't want to press charges. Can he be released? The officer sternly informed me, your cousin's actions constitute attempted assault and attacking a police officer. Even though the assault was unsuccessful, attacking an officer is a fact. Even if you provide a letter of forgiveness, it can only reduce part of the penalty. We intend to file charges against him. If possible, you may want to hire a defense lawyer for him. I may not be a professional lawyer, but I do have basic legal knowledge. In Rachel's case, even if I provide a letter of understanding and he pleads guilty and accepts punishment, he would still have to serve a year or so in prison. But he has shown signs of mental health issues. He might be given a suspended sentence with medical treatment ordered instead of imprisonment. In short, whether it's prison or a mental hospital, he'll have plenty to endure. Rachel truly is my father's bravest son. Even after being caught, he didn't show a hint of fear. He either assaulted the supervising officers or attacked other detained suspects. He even boasted boldly, "Go ahead and shoot me. I'll just be reborn after death. Back as a tough guy. Whatever you do, don't let me out, or I'll kill that Lily Collins." I thought my parents would spend money and pull strings to get him out. Instead, they looked at me pleadingly. "Lily, now that your cousin is locked up, does that mean we don't have to be killed?" My aunt and uncle came to apologize to me. "Lily, we've all died several times already. Why don't we just call it quits? We'll never force you to go on blind dates again." Grandma even came to the city to kneel before me. "Lily, it's Grandma's fault. Please don't chop off Grandma's head. I won't force you to marry anymore." The villagers all came to apologize to me too. Marry if you want to. Don't marry if you don't. We'll never gossip about it again. Please don't slaughter our whole village. I was secretly thrilled, but on the surface, I had to pretend not to understand. Mom, Dad, don't be like this. Auntie, Uncle, please get up, don't kneel. Grandma, you're the elder. How could you bow to me? And all the village elders and relatives too. Aren't you trying to shorten our lifespans? But they wouldn't listen and insisted on kneeling before me. I had no choice but to reluctantly accept it. Only Rachel remained incurable, courting death every day, single-mindedly waiting for rebirth. Then, with multiple charges combined and a terrible attitude toward admitting guilt, coupled with the fact that his delusional symptoms did not affect his criminal liability, he was heavily sentenced to 10 years after serving several years in prison. His mental state deteriorated further, and he was confined to a psychiatric hospital. My parents and others lived in constant fear, terrified of when rebirth might happen again, or when I might lose my mind and slaughter them all. For a long time afterward, they were still living in a miasma and couldn't help but ask me, Lily, did we really survive? Me, he guess.